The fridge that changed everything. Eleanor had always been the giver. For 72 years, she'd poured herself into her family like tea into endless cups, warm, steady, and never asking for a refill. Her husband, Harold, had passed 15 years ago, leaving her with a modest pension, a small apartment in a quiet suburban neighborhood, and their only daughter, Quintessa. Quintessa, everyone called her Tessa, was 45 now, divorced twice, with no children of her own. She'd moved back in with Eleanor 5 years earlier after her second marriage crumbled. "Just temporarily, Mom," she'd said, suitcase in hand, eyes already scanning the rooms for space to claim. Temporary turned into permanent. Tessa worked odd jobs, retail here, freelance graphic design there, but money always seemed to slip through her fingers like sand. Bills piled up, and somehow Eleanor's pension became the safety net. Eleanor never complained. She cooked Tessa's favorite meals, roast chicken on Sundays, lasagna when Tessa was feeling down. She washed the laundry, folded it neatly, and left it on Tessa's bed. She listened to the endless stories of bad bosses, worse exes, and dreams that never quite materialized. "You're all I have, Mom," Tessa would say, hugging her tightly, and Eleanor believed it. But lately, something had shifted. Tessa's hugs felt quicker, her gratitude thinner. She'd started eyeing Eleanor's monthly Social Security deposit with a hunger that made Eleanor's stomach twist. "You don't need all that, Mom. You're just sitting around anyway. Let me handle the finances. I'll invest it wisely." Eleanor resisted at first. "I manage just fine, dear." Then came the guilt trips. "I sacrificed so much for you growing up. Remember how I gave up college to help with Dad's illness? The least you can do is help me now. I deserve a break." One Friday morning in early December, Eleanor woke to find Tessa already dressed in sundress and sandals, suitcase packed by the door. "Where are you going?" Eleanor asked, rubbing sleep from her eyes. "Miami Beach, Mom, with the girls. We've been planning this forever. Sun, sand, cocktails, a real vacation." Eleanor's heart sank. "But the pension check came yesterday. We need that for rent, groceries." Tessa waved a hand dismissively, already scrolling her phone for rideshare. "Oh, I took care of it. I transferred most of it to my account. You'll be fine. There's like 200 left. Buy some grits or oatmeal. That stuff lasts forever." Eleanor stared, mouth agape. You took my money? For a trip?" Tessa rolled her eyes. "It's not your money, Mom. It's family money. And honestly, you hoard it like a dragon. When's the last time you treated yourself? I'm doing this for both of us. I'll come back refreshed and help more around here." Before Eleanor could protest, Tessa pecked her on the cheek. "Love you. Be back in a week. Don't wait up." The door slammed. Silence flooded the apartment like cold water. Eleanor stood there for a long moment, then slowly walked to the kitchen. She opened the fridge, half a loaf of bread, a jar of peanut butter, 3 eggs, and wilted lettuce. The freezer held a single TV dinner. $200 for a week, and rent was due in 10 days. She sat at the kitchen table, hands trembling. Tears came, hot and unexpected. Not for the money exactly, for the realization crashing over her like a wave. Tessa didn't see her as a mother anymore. She saw her as a resource, a bank account with legs. That afternoon, Eleanor did something she'd never done before. She called her old friend Margaret, who ran an antique shop downtown. "Margie, it's Eleanor. Remember those heirlooms in the attic? The silver tea set from Harold's mother, the vintage jewelry, the oak rocking chair?" Margaret's voice brightened. "Of course, dear. You've been sitting on a gold mine. I think it's time to sell." Over the next few days, Eleanor transformed. She boxed up the tea set, the pearls Harold had given her on their 30th anniversary, the porcelain dolls from her own childhood. Piece by piece, memories went into Margaret's van. It hurt, God, it hurt, but each item sold brought a strange liberation. By midweek, her bank account held more money than she'd seen in decades. Not a fortune, but enough. She went shopping. Not at the discount grocery she'd frequented for years. No, she drove to the upscale market across town, the one with imported cheeses and fresh seafood. She filled her cart, beluga caviar, a bottle of Dom Perignon champagne, fresh truffles, exotic fruits like dragon fruit and rambutan, prime ribeye steaks, artisanal chocolates, things she'd only read about in magazines. Back home, she arranged it all in the fridge like a work of art. Caviar in crystal bowls, bought on a whim, champagne chilling, fruits glistening under the light. The shelves groaned with luxury. She cooked herself a feast that night, seared foie gras, asparagus with hollandaise, a glass of champagne that bubbled like laughter. She ate at the dining table, not in front of the TV. Soft music played, Harold's old jazz records. For the first time in years, Eleanor felt alive, truly, deeply alive. She wasn't just surviving, she was living. Tessa returned on a Thursday, tanned and tipsy from the flight, dragging her suitcase with stories of beaches and boys. "Mom, I'm home. God, I'm starving. Those plain peanuts are trash." She dropped her bags in the hall and beelined for the kitchen, yanking open the fridge door without a glance at Eleanor's sitting in the living room. The scream was piercing. "What the— Mom! Mom!" Tessa stumbled back, hand over her mouth, eyes wide as saucers. Eleanor rose slowly, walking to the kitchen doorway with calm poise. "Something wrong, dear?" The fridge light illuminated Tessa's shocked face. "Caviar? Champagne? What is this? Truffles? Mom, where did you get the money for this? Did you take out a loan? Oh God, we're going to be in debt forever." Eleanor met her gaze steadily, a quiet strength in her voice. "No debt, Tessa. I sold the heirlooms, the silver, the pearls Harold had given me on our 30th anniversary, the porcelain dolls from her own childhood." "You sold Grandma's tea set? The pearls Dad gave you? Are you insane? Those were family treasures." "They were my treasures," Eleanor corrected, gently but firmly, "and I chose to reclaim my life with them." Tessa slammed the fridge door, face reddening. "This is ridiculous. You're obviously not thinking clearly. I've been worried about you living alone. Maybe it's time we talk about assisted living. I found this nice place. They'd take good care of you. I could handle things properly." Eleanor didn't flinch. She had prepared for this. "I saw a lawyer while you were away, Tessa. The apartment is mine alone. My finances are protected now. New accounts, new safeguards. And as for you staying here, it's no longer an option." "You can't kick me out. I'm your daughter." "You are my daughter," Eleanor said, her voice unwavering, "and I will always love you. But love doesn't mean allowing myself to be diminished. I've spent decades giving, and now I'm choosing to give to myself. You have 30 days to find your own path as an adult." Tessa's eyes filled with tears, her voice breaking into pleas and accusations. "Mom, please, I didn't mean— I love you. How can you do this?" Eleanor stepped forward, placing a hand on Tessa's arm, not in comfort but in resolve. "Because I finally love myself enough to do this." Tessa left that very night, bags packed amid sobs and slammed doors, vowing to call lawyers, to fight back. But Eleanor knew the truth. The papers were ironclad, the boundaries set. She didn't cry. Instead, she poured a fresh glass of champagne and stood at the window watching the snow fall in thick, silent flakes. But this time, Eleanor didn't stop at watching. The next morning, she booked a ticket to Paris, first class, for springtime, when the cherry blossoms would bloom along the Seine. She signed up for painting classes at the community center, something she'd always dreamed of but never pursued. She joined a book club, a hiking group for seniors who refused to slow down, and even downloaded a dating app on a whim, laughing at her reflection in the mirror. Word spread quietly in the neighborhood. Friends called, inspired by her story. "Eleanor, you're glowing," they said. She started hosting small dinners, lavish ones with the finest ingredients from her now always full fridge, inviting women like herself who'd given too much for too long. One evening, months later, Tessa called. Her voice was smaller, humbled by hard realities. "Mom, can we talk?" Eleanor listened, but on her terms. Coffee in a public cafe, no promises of money or a room. As she hung up, Eleanor smiled, not bitterly, but with the deep satisfaction of a woman reborn. The fridge hummed behind her, a symbol no longer of scarcity, but of abundance she had claimed for herself. Eleanor raised her glass to the empty room, to Harold's memory, to the fierce, vibrant woman staring back from the window's reflection. "To new beginnings," she whispered. And this time, she meant every word, for the rest of her extraordinary life.